Hello everyone, welcome back. Tonight we're talking about our last Clair, which is the Clairguscience taste and smell. Okay? And it's exactly that, taste and smell. There are mediums out there. I have a friend who is a medium. She lives in another state, and she does everything by taste, and she is amazing. It just baffles my mind. I have heard her do a reading, and she was so accurate. It was which with real evidence, which is what I teach, evidential mediumship. And she sat here in this center, and in one of the exercises she brought in 5 pieces of information, and she said that she tasted a red Corvette, and she tasted the month of June, and she tasted the month of September, and she tasted 2 other pieces of information. And when the reading was done, the woman was in tears, and she said, my son, these were the months. This was the month he died. She said his birth month. He died in a red Corvette, and everything was right on. And it just baffles the mind. And when you asked her how, I tasted it. I tasted it, and you think, well, how can you taste a piece of information? But that is Clairguscience. It's a taste. Now, I've only had the Clairguscience open for me with the taste part of it three times in readings. And actually, it was the taste of blood for me, which isn't a pleasant taste, but I could just taste it, just a little bit of a taste. And it was for phlebotomists, the people that I happened to be reading. 2 were in spirit and 1 was here. They were phlebotomists in the hospital where they took blood, so that's why I tasted the blood. And I always teach, you have to say what you get. And I very honestly said, well, I have a little taste of blood. And they said, well, my father was a phlebotomist, or I am a phlebotomist. And that's, over the years, like I say, it's only happened 3 times. So I couldn't even tell you exactly when, but I remember them clearly because that's all I ever tasted. When my Clairguscience came in as far as the taste. With smell, for me, it comes in. If my father steps in, I can smell the cigarette smoke. My father was a big smoker. When my grandmother steps in, I mentioned it before, I smell lilacs. So scent is very significant. And I think many of us have that with smells, especially when we first lose a loved one. The scent that was familiar with them, a pleasant scent, whether it was a perfume or just sometimes even like my grandfather was a carpenter, and as was my uncle, and I can smell sawdust when they come in. I will often have that smell of sawdust because I can, and of course because I hear, I'm clairsentient, I'll hear like a power saw, because my grandfather always used the power saw, and I'm hearing it right now because I'm talking about it. Okay, so that's Clairguscience taste and smell. And again, we want to learn and embrace all of our gifts and abilities from God, but certainly in order to connect, have a stronger connection to the other side, we have to learn what our clairs are, which ones are our strongest clairs, how to embrace them, and how to strengthen them. Okay, so once again, clairvoyance is the ability to see, clairaudient to hear, clairsentient to feel. Remember 2 clairsentients, the regular clairsentient and the prophetic feeler. Okay, claircognizant, which is the all-knowing, and Clairguscience, which is taste and smell. Okay, so it's really important that we learn our clairs, and so that we are able to connect with our loved ones. I know for anyone that's suffering, again, I'm so sorry for anyone, especially around this time of year. I mean, there's no good time to lose anyone that we love, but it's so difficult around the holidays, whether it's a recent loss or it's a loss that happened a while ago. The holidays are very bittersweet for many, very painful for many. And certainly, if you can have the ability to connect with your loved one yourself, what it does for people. I have had people come to me for readings, and I have, shared much of what I'm talking to you about. I share with them, and I encourage them to meditate. I mentioned Rose's book, Rose Van Den Enden, So You Want to Be a Medium. I encourage them to get it, and I encourage them strongly to learn how to raise their own vibration. And many will find their way back on a Thursday night or a Monday morning or down the Jersey Shore, and they work with me. And some of them have worked with me for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And when they're ready, for certification, And when I feel they're ready, they will take certification and go out and work on their own as a professional spiritual evidential medium. And I find for all of them, once they begin to really connect to the other side and they start connecting with their loved one, it really they still will always miss their loved one, but there's a sense of peace inside because they have a clear understanding that their loved ones are fine. They're where they're supposed to be, they're where they want to be, and it becomes more important that they now can bring messages to others grieving. So it's no longer about just connecting with their own loved one, and their own loved ones will take a step back, so to speak, maybe help them bring messages in, but they take a step back because now it becomes more important. It becomes like a mission for them to help others, to feel that peace that they have received through doing this on their own. So it really is a mission for me. It becomes a mission for everyone. It has to be done in the right way. It has to be done in a spiritual way. You have to keep God in the center of all of it. Otherwise, you'll never do it properly, and prayer and meditation are really key. So again, I'm so sorry for anyone suffering. I know the holidays will be bittersweet, but again, I tell you, please know that your loved ones are in a beautiful, wonderful place. They're really where they want to be, where they have to be. We have to, try to get rid of that last memory of how they passed, because that's more, that preys on our minds, certainly not theirs. If they were suffering, if loved ones suffer, it's hard for us to get that memory out of our minds, but we really need to do it because their suffering is done. Now it becomes our suffering, and we have to learn to get rid of it, to bring the peace back into our minds and bodies and souls and hearts, to understand that they're really okay and they're where they want to be. And if they had the opportunity to come back, I have to be truthful, and I will say to parents, I have to always be true to spirit. And if your child had an opportunity to come back, they would not in the physical sense, because they are home and they love where they are. But if there's a love or blood connection, they will pull their energy in to be with you when you need them to be. Okay? So I leave you with that. I hope it helped somewhat. Just learning about your clairs and what you can do to embrace them a little more. And tomorrow night we'll start on another path. I think tomorrow night I'll start with the chakras, because I like you to have a better understanding of the chakras. They are part of the spiritual body, and we each have thousands of chakras, which I call them portals to the other side, but we're going to talk about the 7 main chakras. I'm going to go over each one a night with you so that you have a better understanding of them, and then of course I'll encourage you, as I do with the clairs, to go out and learn more about them, whether it's through reading, different classes, workshops, whatever. And again, please use me as a referral. If you're not in my area and you can't find your way to me, certainly I will be happy to refer you to people in your area if you let me know your location. I am going to begin teaching online. I'll be starting that in April. I'm going to be working some of my friends who are wonderful, Karen Greenstreet, who does this on a professional level, not with mediumship, although she is a medium. She teaches other things, and she's going to help me to get out there a little bit more and teach me how to use this, so I know what I'm doing when I start teaching online as far as how to use the website that I have to go through. Okay, so I will be teaching online, so those of you who want to study with me, can't find your way here to the center or down the Jersey Shore, certainly maybe you can partake in some of the workshops that I'm offering. Okay, and that's all on my website, which is griefmedium.com. Again, that's griefmedium.com. And you can see the workshops that I will be teaching in 2017. Okay, so have a pleasant night. I hope that your loved ones visit you tonight in a beautiful dream. And as always, I leave you in God's love and light.